Guys, this year is off to a really bad start. I was just downstairs putting on my warm clothes to, you know, make a video because it's, what is it? Ah, nice. 17 degrees Fahrenheit in the studio. Is that a new record? I don't think quite yet. But anyway, I just threw a big New Year's party, and so I was putting my boots on, and I got friggin' iced, bro. Here I was thinking the horrors of New Year's would be left on New Year's Eve. But it looks like I'm getting iced at, you know, 1 o'clock on a Monday. Even though there's no one here to hold me accountable for this, I feel like it would be unsportsmanly for me to not take immediate action and follow the good rules of ice. So you guys are gonna have to count me down on this one. All right, we like to drink with Milo. Milo is our friend. He climbs into his ceiling and his ceiling never ends. 7, 6, how the hell? Come on, bro. This should not be this challenging. Oh, there's more, fuck. I have a conspiracy that the reason that icing people became a thing is because if it wasn't, there would be no other way on the planet to get people to buy and drink Smirnoff Ice. We're constantly outdoing ourselves here, guys. Constantly outdoing ourselves. Happy New Year, Googledebunkers. What a year it's been already. I feel like I should just leave it here. I don't think it's getting any better than this. This year will be 5 entire years since I started out on TikTok, which is kind of insane. And I thought to hearken in this new year, we could go back to our roots and take a deep dive into the mind-numbing world of TikTok conspiracy theories. I don't make quite as many TikTok conspiracy debunks as I used to, but I get tagged in them all of the time. And it pains me because I see all of you out there subjecting yourself to these horrible, horrible creations. And you even watch them for that extra 2.5 seconds that it takes to tag me in them. And for that sacrifice, I am so grateful. So today, for the very first time, we are gonna be going over a selection of user-submitted conspiracy TikToks. I'm standing here as if there is something else that needs to be said before I do this, but in reality, all I am doing is stalling because I really don't want to do this. Screen recording. 3, 2, 1. Action. I will let all of you speculate as to what the timer, the stopwatch is at the top of my screen. Speculate in the comments. Discuss among yourselves what took 19 minutes and 17.35 seconds. You might have... Oh God, that's me.
Many people believe telekinesis is...
Oh yeah, baby, we're in business. This first video was submitted to me by a user named Phoenix Lover. Felix Lover. I don't know if Felix Lover is a name for like Felix, a guy who's named Felix and just is a lover, or if he's Felix's lover. A lover of Felix's, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the guy in the profile, maybe, I don't know. I don't know many things, and I especially don't know many things about Felix, so don't ask. I can't do this anymore! Anyway, this appears to be a video about telekinesis, so we're really off to a good start here.
Telekinesis is impossible, but its secret has finally been revealed, and now anyone can learn this ability. What's even more shocking is that the ancient Egyptians supposedly used this power to build the pyramids.
I'm gonna be so for real. Did that guy just shatter a glass with his mind? I mean, obviously not. Something shot at it and broke it, but that looked really cool. We're gonna just cut right to the chase with the ancient Egyptians. Whenever you see these telekinesis conspiracy videos, you will see them use somewhat convincing examples of telekinesis where someone's moving like a dollar bill in this case, or like, I've seen one where it was a guy with like a didgeridoo and he was moving like what I thought was a stone, but it was much less impressive. It was just a crumpled black plastic bag. These videos will almost always then go on to explain how this is a lost ancient high technology that was used to build the pyramids, etc., etc. But the astute among you will notice that there's a little flaw in this logic, and that is that plastic bag is a lot lighter than a gigantic rock. I get there's all this shit you can do with vibrations and wind and sound and moving your hands to keep a dollar bill in the air, and that's a great party trick, but don't act like that is something that can be scaled to move stones that would be used to build the pyramid. And if it was possible to scale it in that way, it would probably kill every single person involved. Like, if you can lift a plastic bag using a didgeridoo's vibration,
I'd be teaching the children how to vibrate. Pause. YouTuber moment.
the vibration needed to levitate a stone would probably just turn everyone around it into, like, fucking jello.
Power to build the pyramids. They were said to lift massive sand blocks weighing several tons and move them through the air.
This is a nitpick, but massive sand blocks? Sand blocks, blocks of sand. I mean, I guess sandstone blocks are sand blocks. It's a stone made of sand, so you know what? I'll shut the fuck up.
As if they were weightless. But the Egyptians didn't rely on just one ability. According to the legend, they used 3 additional forms of telekinesis.
Hey, yo! This is not news to anyone, but fucking AI images, dude. Pretty much all of this has been AI images so far, and you're gonna see that, I'm sure, as a running theme as we dive into more of these videos. You know, I always loved conspiracy theories, but the thing that always irked me about them is that they weren't making the planet uninhabitable for my children. And now, with the power of generative AI, that dream has become a reality.
Pyrokinesis, to heat and fuse sand into solid blocks. Astrokinesis,
To heat and fuse sand into solid blocks. If you have the ability to heat at that level, why don't you just cut sandstone blocks?
astrokinesis, to
Yo, astrokinesis. Bro is just making shit up. That is not a word.
perfectly mirror the stars of Orion's belt in the layout of the pyramid.
To perfectly mirror the stars, bro, it is 3 things in a line. It is 3 things in a line. Take a shot every time a conspiracy theorist says perfectly or perfectly aligned. And yeah, maybe it was done to be inspired, but saying perfectly, it's not fucking perfect. It's just like, oh, that looks like that. I can make this look like that too. Jesus.
And geokinesis, to bury the construction so that only the top remained visible. So, how do you unlock telekinesis yourself?
Okay, now we're getting to the important part here, guys.
Drink a glass of cold water. Then rub your hands together like this for a couple of minutes. The hardest part comes next. You must visualize an energy sphere forming in your palms. When you feel it, direct this energy toward the object you want to move. You might not succeed on your first try. You've never practiced this before. But with time, you'll be able to control objects using nothing but the power of thought.
Guys, I think there's only one thing to do. Okay, what are we moving? You know, I want to do something funny, like there's a trash can over there and a hammer, but I feel like that's unsportsmanlike. So I feel like I should pick something that one could reasonably expect to move with telekinesis. Maybe a Book of Mormon, that could be interesting. That seems like intermediate telekinesis, all right? I feel like this, I feel like a receipt is pretty reasonable. I'll do a quarter of a receipt. LeBron, drink a glass of cold water. Oh, you know, I bet if I rub my hands together for a few minutes after drinking that Smirnoff Ice, the energy ball I created could have fucking piled through the floor. I'm gonna actually do it for a couple minutes, so sorry, editors. See? This is where that 19-minute timer comes in handy, guys. I'll go until 21 minutes and 17 seconds. You guys thought I wasn't gonna do this, did you? But you'd be mistaken. I'm a scientist, okay? You can't tell me that there is a 3-step surefire way to move things with my mind, and all it involves is water and a little friction, and I'm not gonna try it. You know, there's really almost nothing you can achieve with just water and a little friction. Let me tell you. Water, friction, vibration. It's the Holy Trinity. It's what makes the world go round. Wow, I didn't anticipate how tired that would make your arms. I don't think I've ever rubbed my hands together for this long. We're almost there, guys. 21 minutes and 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, now I have to envision an energy ball. I may have blown a blood vessel. Okay. Okay, this is it. We're gonna do it. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this whole fucking telekinesis thing, guys. Thanks, Dad. You said I could be anything. Apparently, I can't be a telekinetic. Oh. Whoa, did you guys see that shit? All I need to do now is be edited like whoever that guy was at the end of that TikTok that cracked me the fuck up. It's like 2016, like Snapchat Joker. I feel like if this video wasn't stolen from someone else, it would be playing Heathens in the background. But anyway, I want to be like that, all right? That's my goal in life. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. All right, that was plenty of whatever that was. Let's move on to the next video. This next video is submitted by a viewer named Alirso, and they said, dude, what is this? And so we're gonna figure out what this is. Oh God, no. It's one of these videos. This is a phenomenon I've wanted to talk about for a while, where there's this like specific niche of conspiracy grifter video where like they don't even really talk about anything. What they do is they'll just sort of play like a montage of clips or images with like the classic music, and then just like have like face react to it, or there's like, and you're just supposed to fucking fill in the blank. You know, we actually did a joke of this around this time last year.
Weapons grade facts.
And I feel like we should probably do another one of these. But maybe we do that after we watch this video first, so you can get a vibe for what the hell it is I'm talking about. Astronauts drinking water. Okay, so obviously this is someone who's pushing a conspiracy that, you know, space isn't real or NASA's lying to you or something. It's a little hard to tell because he can't even be fucked to speak. What the fuck is even happening? How much is spent on space projects? Okay, firstly, I'd be willing to wager that most of that $614 billion are in private space projects. That's not like the big government funneling it into NASA money. NASA's not fucking spending that. I'd be willing to bet my soul. But also, we can check this one off of our brain-dead conspiracy theorist bingo card, which is conspiracy theorist comes this close to developing class consciousness and then defaults to science is bad and evil. Your enemy is not fucking NASA, you goddamn morons. People always ask me what kind of conspiracies I believe in, and one that I will believe until the day that I die is that the powers that be are intentionally sowing distrust in academic institutions in order to make conspiracy-minded people default to thinking that they are the enemy rather than thinking that the government and the ruling class are the enemy. It's actually really sad. It's absolutely brilliant in like an evil genius kind of way, but it's also very profoundly depressing. Okay, what's next?
Did you know that archaeologists have found evidence of advanced civilizations predating human existence on this planet? Fueling theory.
Advanced civilizations predating human civilization. I'm intrigued.
Theories about humanity's multiple tries on this planet. In the Indus valleys alone, archaeologists have found over...
What the hell is going on? I feel like I'm like having like a psychotic break. There's a lot going on right now that my brain is trying to process. Chiefly why I am blinking in this video, and less chiefly why she said Induous. But hey, to each Hindu own.
400 symbols on seals, to which many of which are undeciphered, untranslated. To this day, Rongo-Ongo tablets in Easter Island have scriptures hinting at ancient civilizations that people have just completely forgotten about.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm gonna be nice. I have to be nice with this one. Your heart seems to be in the right place, and I love that about you. But Rongo is the script from Easter Island, and that is not a civilization that people have just completely forgotten about. That was the Rapa Nui. They are the indigenous people of Easter Island, and of Rapa Nui, not Easter Island. That's the colonial name. It's true that we haven't deciphered what Rongo Rongo is, but Rongo Rongo is very interesting because it is one of the only examples that we have where writing arose independently without any sort of outside influence. A lot of research has gone into understanding Rongo Rongo, and we can't decipher it yet, but it's not like some lost, failed try of humanity on the planet. I get that this is mysterious and fun, but I think it's also really important to balance out how phrasing things like that is like a complete erasure of indigenous people. It's like this mystery thing that no one understands at all from this failed group that we've all forgotten. It's like, no, bro, like they got fucking colonized to shit. And then all of the tablets got sold and burned and lost. Like, there's a really good story in this, and I hear the curiosity, but framing it like that is disingenuous and does a disservice to the indigenous people that actually created this way of writing.
Advanced civilizations predating human existence. Rongo Ongo tablets in Easter Island. Hinting at ancient civilizations that people have just completely forgotten about. Evidence suggesting that we had ancient civilizations that knew how to use electricity. We have maps that show in
Ancient civilizations that knew how to use electricity. She's not giving any examples, so I'm gonna assume she means, you know, the Baghdad battery or whatever. We've been over that a million fucking times. Ancient civilizations did not have electricity. Give me one fucking source that isn't one that has been debunked 1,000 times. I would love to hear it, but for now you are just saying things. I can say that ancient civilizations had a fucking, what the hell are those things called? You can make sparkling water. Jet stream, jet fuel, hydrojet, jet plane. What the fuck were they called again? Aqualung, an aqualung.
Okay, I'm gonna try to take this out. Oh.
I think the ancient civilizations had those, and that means just as much as you saying that. Try again.
Ice-free Antarctica.
Ice-free Antarctica is the Piri Reis map and the fucking other guy's map, or Orontius Phineas map. Those are both cartographic errors because they were made by people sailing around the world with a goddamn piece of paper and a pencil. So they fucked up, and they elaborated and extrapolated in places where there's no land. If you are going to assume that Antarctica was ice-free as recently as like the 1500s, and you believe a really old fucking map written on a piece of animal skin, but you don't believe modern science, I hate to tell you, you have an ass-backwards way of thinking, and there's no use trying to speak any sense to you whatsoever.
Before we discovered it. This was a map made in 1513, before we knew Antarctica existed in 1820. That predates it by 3 fucking centuries. There's
3 fucking centuries. Those weren't just any goddamn centuries. Speaking of giving actual history that's pretty interesting, the European powers did not know about Antarctica until, you know, until 3 fucking centuries later. But there's actually really cool oral history from Polynesians, I think it was the Maori in New Zealand, Aotearoa, if you will, who have some form of oral history talking about their ancestors traveling to a far off land to the south that was really cold and rocky and covered in ice, and they were like, this just sucks, and so they just never went back. So it's actually not the first time this was known about. There are indigenous groups that did know about these places, and it would probably be better for us to talk about that than act like this was just some giant mystery and give all of this fucking time and energy to a European mapping error than the groups that literally sailed there in fucking outrigger canoes more than 3 fucking centuries ago. I'm not gonna watch the rest of this video because I see where this is going. This is just someone who has been indoctrinated with all of the random archaeological misinformation online, and seemingly has had a very genuine passion for archaeology and history, taken advantage of and manipulated by, Graham Hancock and, all of the goons that he has spawned. So what I would say to this creator is, you should do a little actual archaeological research. You will find some really interesting things. Please double check the sources that you are getting this stuff from, because I can hear that you are like, every word that has come out of her mouth so far is something I have just heard someone else say, and all of it is just bullshit. And I can forgive someone for falling for bullshit, but in the age of information, you can fucking do better. Run-of-the-mill conspiracies, next video. This video was recommended to me by It's Sarah. At least that's their username. I don't know what their name is. I would take a shot maybe at like Mike. And it's a video about Tartaria, of course. Now, I have intentionally not touched Tartaria with a 10-foot pole because I think that, honestly, of all of like the pseudo-historical conspiracy theories, Tartaria is the absolute fucking worst. It is made to be this gigantic, like, deep lore, lost civilization thing that is literally just founded on the fact that old maps have, like, a part of Russia labeled as Tartary or Tartaria or the Tartans and shit like that as like a ethnic group or, of the region. And so they interpreted it as being a lost civilization that disappeared in like the late 1800s from a worldwide mud flood that we just have no evidence of anymore. Now, I'm gonna make a prediction of this video, and I will say that it is going to somehow involve a map that is going to say Tartaria on it. And that's gonna be like a foundational piece of evidence. I'll put $6 on this bet.
Crazy uncle. Mine just gave me a United States history book from the year 1903. Guess what I found? Proof, here are two books.
Oh, it's looking good, guys.
1903. Tartary.
What did I fucking tell ya? It says Tartary over Russia. And I'm sure if she bothered to fucking read anything that is on that page, it would explain exactly what they meant by Tartary, but no. It says Tartary, and that's enough. I also think it's funny that you could look at this and there's a few others on there. Like in China, it says Cathy. Who the fuck is Cathy? But why is there no conspiracies about that, huh? Why is it that the Cathys didn't make an advanced civilization and suddenly got wiped off the map? I don't know. But maybe there's something to do with the fact that the Cathys are in China and the Tartarians kind of go over into Europe. Do we think there might be a fucking parallel there of some kind? I don't know. All right, that's enough of that one, Jesus. Next video was brought to us by Cody McKay. So that's a very cowboy name you got there, Cody.
Yes, 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 yes!
Ooh, God, I already don't like this video.
I knew this day would come! You guys remember the other day when I was joking about us finding a dragon someday soon? Because it's 2020, so it just makes sense. Present to you the frozen dragon of the north. Some Game of Thrones top shit! A new species of...
Milo, you have to be really nice, okay? People look up to you, people respect you, people follow in your footsteps. And the way that you treat others is reflected by them. So it would be really immature for you to talk about how that was the most insufferable thing you've ever listened to in your life and how you're not even gonna finish that video. You're gonna go downstairs and you're gonna take an ibuprofen and you're gonna come back up here and you're gonna keep filming and we're not gonna ever discuss this again. Yo, what's up, Google Debunkers? You guys know that I don't do sponsorships on this channel. I get we all need to make our bag, but you could not pay me any amount of money to shell out to some soulless VPN company. So in lieu of that, myself and the team try and make things that you guys will actually enjoy. Like our new set of enamel pins. Something unique, high quality, made by a real artist that isn't just some shitty YouTube merch that's like, fucking Mr. Beast on a t-shirt. At the end of last year, we came out with this set of 3 enamel pins. Well, this one's metal, these ones are enamel. We got the Google Debunker Sheriff Badge, this Google Debunker sort of Star Sheriff Badge, and we even have a few of our Mini Minuteman Northeast Tour pins left over, as well as these, some little mini pins, and a patch, if you're a patch jacket kind of guy. All of these designs are made by a real artist without a single AI involved, and a portion of each sale goes directly to the artist. The proceeds from all of our merch helps run the team and the channel and is part of my commitment to try and just put good things out into the world. I get that currency is king, but least I can do is try and do it in a way that's
thoughtful. So anyway, if you want to grab one of these pins for yourself and decorate that cool jacket, you know the one. Link to that is in the description of this video. Myself and the rest of the team greatly appreciate any purchases. It helps us do what we do here. Let's get back into it. The next video was brought to us by Hoot Hoot, which I think is a Pokemon. Although this one has a space in it, so it's more like if you cut a Hoot Hoot in half. 10 mysteries of our planet that no one can explain. Nice, it's a slideshow, so I don't have to keep interrupting someone. I like this. Well, we already have the Richter structure, so this is gonna be interesting. Traces of ancient ocean in the Sahara. I'm half shocked that it's not about Atlantis. That's always the thing with the Richter structure, is people think it's Atlantis because they're dumb. You know, I try to not call people dumb quite as much. I think that, you know, oftentimes conspiracy theorists are a product of their environment. But there is so many videos about how the Richter structure is not Atlantis, and there's so little evidence that it actually is, that this is one of the cases that I will use that. Anyway, traces of ancient ocean in the Sahara. Shells, fossilized coral, and riverbeds are found in the middle of the desert. But how did an entire ocean just disappear in just a couple of thousand years? Okay, shells, fossilized corals are both ocean features. Riverbeds are not an ocean feature. And what makes you say that it disappeared in a couple thousand years? The Richter structure has fossils of ocean things because it was once under the ocean, and the ocean is not there anymore because of plate tectonics. It got lifted up and moved because that's how the crust works. Lost megacities of the Amazon. Satellite images reveal dozens of circular structures, traces of enormous cities. Who built them, and where did 1 million people disappear to? You know, that's a really great question, actually, and considering you've given absolutely no information for any of this, I can't answer any of it. How are you saying that there's 1 million people? I don't know what city it is, so I don't know if there was 1 million people there or not. I doubt there was 1 million people in one city, but there's no source, so who fucking knows? It's just like saying, out there in the woods is a place. Why was it built, and how? Scientists are too stupid to know. It's like, where the fuck are you talking? What is the place? Give me fucking something here. Tunnels beneath Antarctic glaciers. Perfectly smooth tunnels have been discovered beneath kilometers of ice that are too symmetrical to be natural, but who created them? Tunnel in a glacier is from meltwater, and those often turn out quite symmetrical. It's a nice flowy thing. I don't know what this means, and therefore it means nothing. Sounds unlike any sea creature regularly emanate from a depth of 11 kilometers, yet we have yet to see what lives there. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, it's a tectonically active trench. I would imagine there's shit going on down there all the time. Why the fuck does it have to be a living creature? It is because our stupid little monkey brains are terrified of things we don't understand, and thus conspiracy theoryism was born. Okay, I'm honestly bored of this one. I'm going to the next one. All right, this next one was brought to us by someone who hates me. By R. Boucher, who left the longest comment I've ever seen in my life. I didn't even know that you could, they must have increased the limit on comments for TikTok, because damn, R. Boucher, pop off.
Perfectly together like Legos that you can't even fit a razor blade between them, meaning that this structure has literally withstood the test of time using nothing but its own weight and precision-made cuts. Something
that always cracks me up when conspiracy theorists are like, the pyramid blocks are fit together so well that you couldn't even fit a razor blade between them. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Why would you be able to fit a razor blade between them? Go up to just a fucking like stone wall in your yard and try and fit a razor blade between the rocks. You know why it doesn't fit? Because the rocks are stacked on top of each other, you goddamn moron.
You can't necessarily say for any of the 100 plus pyramids built by copycat pyramid builders for
Copycat pyramid. Oh, he's saying that they weren't actually built by the Egyptians and it's the lost advanced civilization. Well, whatever those pyramids are you were just showing, yeah, they might look pretty slumped, but I'd be willing to bet if you went up to them, you still wouldn't be able to put a fucking razor blade between the blocks.
Over 700 years after the Great Pyramid. So how did the Egyptians cut each stone so perfectly? According to mainstream Egyptology.
Oh, face card goes crazy. Oh, Milo, be nice. Stop being a fucking asshole, okay? It's the first video of the year. It's the first video of the year. Be nice.
They use copper handsaws and chisels. And just to show you how utterly unrealistic this is, not long ago, one Egyptologist attempted to recreate the stone of the Sphinx using copper chisels, much like the ones the ancient Egyptians might have used. And after several days of hammering away at this stone non-stop, he barely made a dent in it.
After days of work, their copper chisels and stone pounders are barely making a dent.
Not only was the copper chisel not chipping away.
Okay, I don't know what that's from, I'm gonna have to look into it, but there are literally fucking countless videos of archaeologists doing
doing experimental archaeology with copper tools. The way we know that they use copper tools is because we have found the fucking copper tools that they use. We're not just guessing, like we literally find it. I would also like to add in there, I don't know what the framing is of the voiceover he was just playing, but no shit, it took a really long time. I don't know why all these conspiracy theorists are so shocked at how long these giant projects would have taken in the past, but the thing I always say is it proves to me that they have soft hands. It's completely possible to do with raw manpower if you have a community of people to do it with, and craftsmen and fucking skilled artisans who are getting paid to do a giant fucking monument. Like when I hear this guy look at the copper chisel and goes, that takes too long, I'm just like, dude, you would have been the fucking guy in ancient Egypt peeling the fucking grapes, okay? You can fan me and I'll build the fucking Sphinx, okay?
Away at the limestone very efficiently, but the chisel itself will become utterly useless after a few dozen strikes.
When Roger tries chisels made from bronze, the results are disappointing.
As you can see, we're leaving a lot of metal and very little stone is flaking out.
Eventually, the dude gave up on the chisels altogether and finished the project.
Well, another part of the chisel thing is that they would not just pound into the stone constantly. They also used grit and aggregate from the fucking sand that was all around them, because quartz, which the sand is made out of, is a lot harder than the copper they were using. So the copper was more of a catalyst in the same way that the paper of sandpaper is sort of just a vessel to rub grains of sand on a piece of wood. So it was the quartz grains of sand from the desert that was actually doing the cutting, and the copper was sort of just the tool used to rub the quartz in. So that's how the copper drills worked. That's how the copper saws worked. It wasn't actually the copper that was doing the cutting, it was the quartz that was doing the cutting, and the copper was a disposable part that would wear down and be reused and repurposed, while the quartz was the thing that actually made the cut. So that is just a fundamental misunderstanding of the way that this sort of masonry was done, which is not surprising at all from someone with soft fucking hands.
Using a power saw. And since we're on the topic of saws, a completely different group of researchers created a large handsaw that was made of copper, much like the ancients would have used. And after several days of sawing back and forth with the combined efforts of multiple people, they could only cut the stone at a rate of about 4 millimeters per hour.
Yes, no shit. Not a single person on the planet is saying that it was easy to build the pyramid. We're just saying that they didn't have fucking lasers to do it. I would also imagine that the ancient Egyptians probably had a lot more finesse to this. They probably had the exact technique down to a science. This was their job after all. I feel like these people have never watched like a master craftsman do the thing that they're good at. Like, have you ever watched someone who's just like, I don't know, a skilled wood carver, a stonemason, a glass blower, you fucking name it, and they just take a raw material and just breathe fucking life into it. And you're like, holy shit, how did you made that look easy. That is the people that were building the pyramids. They weren't just some like random schmoes, you know, fucking white dude in the desert in a cowboy hat who, you know, studies in the library most of his life trying to make a saw work. These were fucking artisans. These were craftspeople who had years of experience doing this.
Will we see any progress in our lifetime? Yes, if you came back in an hour's time.
Yeah, like look at these guys go. What the fuck is that? Are we seeing any progress? I'm tired, I wanna go inside. Dude, fucking put your back into that shit. Oh my God. Anyway, that's a really elaborate way of saying that this is really stupid, and I wish people actually thought before they opened their mouth and pressed record. All right, I'm done with this video. The only other thing that I would even remotely wanna know from this guy is how to get eyebrows that are that fucking fierce. But I have a hunch that that's probably in a different video. I think it's worth noting that for like every 5 conspiracy videos I'm tagged in, one of them is either Shane Vibes or Philip Zeba. For those of you who are new here, welcome. You can see I made the place really nice and inviting for you. But these two fellas are sort of repeat offenders here, and both of them were the subjects of their very own multi-part conspiracy breakdown videos, an honor that's truly only reserved for a privileged few. If you haven't seen these videos and you like what I did here, you should totally watch these because it's pretty much this, but like for 3 fucking hours or more. A lot more. Perfect thing to play in the background while you
fold your dishes or do your laundry or something. I'm intentionally not watching any of the ones I've been tagged in here because I just can't stomach it. Being tagged in all these videos kind of got me thinking. Shane is someone that I never want to engage with ever again. I have absolutely no faith at all he will ever change his ways. I believe that that is a complete lost cause. But Philip, our good old Canadian buddy Philip, he always occupied a little piece of that soft spot in the top of my skull. And long ago, I did promise that I would make a follow-up video on him as a bit of a where is he now? You know, the last I heard about Philip Zeba, Trader rode into town a few weeks back, and he told me the poor kid's taken to promoting a UFO map app. Now, unfortunately, I can't say this is, why did I just flash you? Now, unfortunately, I can't say this is all that surprising, but I do believe that it warrants further investigation. So as it seems to me, our dear friend Philip is long overdue for a visit. I want to say he took my advice to heart, but I'm not holding my breath for it. All right, I think that's all the terrible conspiracy videos that I can stomach for one sitting. If you are for some reason itching for more, I have plenty of other videos like this. Go check them out. And if you're playing this video in the background while you play video games or do your chores, why let the fun stop here? Check another one of them out. I promise you won't be disappointed. And if I did successfully make the monotony of everyday life slightly less boring, I'd greatly appreciate if you could leave an interaction on the video. I make all of my videos on YouTube here for free, and interactions like promotions, shares, likes, and shit like that helps them get promoted in the algorithm, which allows me to continue making them for free. Like I always say, it's like tipping the bellhop, so I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for helping us continue doing what we do here. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my editorial team, without whom these videos would just be this crazy man by himself rambling in a building that is falling down on top of him. You may not see their faces, but they are the true MVPs of this channel, so make sure to give them a big thank you as well. And lastly, if you want to support the channel directly, pop on over to the store. Check out some of our some sick enamel pins. Put them on your hat, put them on your jacket, put them on your backpack, put them on your friend. Not like on your friend, like on your friend's clothes. If you put them on your friend, that is probably a crime of some kind, and I am not culpable for it. Culpable, liable, do those mean the same things? I don't know. I don't care. I don't think that would hold up in court. Link to that is in the description of this video, and I greatly appreciate it. It will help me buy a space heater. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all very much for watching this video. Remember to stay curious, stay inquisitive, and most importantly, there is a little bit of a problem here in that insofar as a how the fuck does this work? How do you, I feel like an old guy. I feel like an old guy. Probably put this away now. Why am I standing like this? I'm fucking posted up in here. Oh, Jesus. Less chiefly, vice chiefly even, anomalies of the Mariana Trench. Sounds like unlike any, what the fuck? Yo, wait, there's no light on me. You guys know that I don't do any sponsorships on these videos because frankly, there's no company that I want to sell my soul to. Wow, my nose is really cold. Look at how red it is. That's crazy. Oh, my brain. There's icicles in my brain. It's kind of funny to be in a room like this and seek out the trash can to throw something away. You know, when the floor is just covered in debris, capital D debris, it doesn't really matter where the trash goes, does it? So I get there's all this shit you can do with vibrations, he said the thing. And if you're playing this video in the background while you do bleh. There's a cat meowing at the door. That's nice. So as it seems to me, our friend Philip is a little overdue from a visit, but we'll form breakout rooms and then we will discuss with the class later. Do you guys remember breakout rooms? Wow, college and COVID, what a weird time. I hate that guy. I know that guy, I play him on TV. Do they need to fuse the sand together? The sand is already fused together, it's already on the ground. That seems like an unnecessary extra step, even for robot aliens in aprons. I don't have a brain anymore, and I need to film a whole nother video now, so let me go do a costume change.